Can you hear me? Okay, nice. I think now we have just a 30-minute session on what we can do manufacturing part of it. Thanks Nitin and for the excellent session. I think you guys have done an excellent job in understanding what customer needs and then how this can help us in increasing the productivity and enhancement. Normally, when the product undergoes a lot of requirements, you as a customer have a choice to make, but what are the things we need to take is with a very question mark, right? So I'll walk you through about 30 minutes of my presentation during the manufacturing portfolio from Siemens side. I'm not sure how many of you know the NX Solid Edge Cam Pro, but I'll just try to do the justice in terms of manufacturing process. This is a slide we have all been using from the beginning. This is where the summary slide, right? So we started with the design, we started with the analysis, we started with the documentation, and then manufacturing. Means when we look at SMB market, like customer like you and me, we're not just looking customers for the enterprise, right? So it is again, for all of us, SMB is the de facto standard in an Indian market. So we have to address the MSME and SMB customers requirement. Now in that Solid Edge 2023, we try to get new features in terms of manufacturing, how we can address the cycle time reduction, how can we optimize the resources, how can we optimize the overall machine utilization if we have any CAM programming. Now CAM is just a focused area, right? So you may say, I'm already doing this. What is the benefit if you do with an integrated approach? What are the benefits? You already saw with the live presentation what we all showcased to you. The seamless integration, there are no data loss. The overall backbone for all of us is that no data loss. So try to adopt what I call as a platform, right? So you have to choose when we go for a longer run, this all a word is called connected world. Whether we have how we can work in a collaborative way without any data loss, right? So in the past, we were all doing the data loss, but with the less data loss, how can I do manufacture or design parts better? That's the whole idea in the future. With Industry 4.0, I'm not sure how many of you are aware, the industries we're heading. The design part is same, but for all of us, the additive manufacturing, the manufacturing is changing rapidly, right? So in the past, we were not aware all these changes might happen, right? So we all have a machine, which is a milling machine or a turning machine or a wire radium machine, which can do individually their best. But today you have seen in Gujarat itself, there are a lot of machines which can do a multitasking machine. Means a single machine can do a milling and turning and drilling together. So that kind of complexity is already there in the system for manufacturing like you and me. Now, how can we address that kind of customers and then effectively solve their problem? Now, I'll tell you, you should know Solid Edge Cam Pro is not a new product to you. So that's what I thought I'll just highlight you. As a CAM players from Siemens, manufacturing is in our DNA, right? So you ask anybody in the today's world, when Siemens started about 175 years ago, it's a manufacturing company. We are not a software company. So we know the pains, right? What all it takes to manufacture a component or a part or an assembly, all know, because it's a very hard. Design is always an easy job. I can do a design virtually. But when we manufacture it, there are a lot of challenges. Practical problems are more in the manufacturing domain. And we understand this, and we listen to your customer, and we always welcome the positive feedback, right? So we take this to the product development. So this is a snapshot of what we have in the manufacturing domain. So why I'm just telling this is, we started as a CAM company, right? So you see Siemens, Unigraphics. I don't know how many of you know Unigraphics from Siemens side. The first is a CAM company. Then we have matured enough, started acquiring company, acquiring the technology and knowledge, know-how, learning from the customer like you, and then got all the CAD functionality, analysis functionality, and then what is required for customers. So then in that journey, we got the 20% market share in the CAM area. Now with that, what it means is the product is already proven for all of us. So I don't need to come to you and then start cutting the part, right? So solid edge cam pro is already a proven market, so it's a 50-year legacy. And then the interoperability, what we are showing, is all present in the global arena, not just in Indian context, but it's a globally, right? So that's how the Siemens looks manufacturing as the DNA, and then we always look what coming next. See, today you may be thinking the features what we are showing is only available today, right? You don't know what is our roadmap for 3 years, right? What might change for all of us in the manufacturing domain, in the design domain, right? So we as a customer, as a vendor, we go to OEMs like you, understand what might come after 3 years, and then put in our framework of product development. That's what I think you saw the presentation. Why we wanted to show you is our planning start very well in advance. Any feature you want to request, please plan your feature request enhancement well in advance so that we can take that into our R&D and then put into a system. Now, coming to what are the manufacturing highlights, right? So if you see the manufacturing highlights within the solid edge community, or what we call as solid edge cam pro, that is very focused. But that is not the end of the manufacturing. Please remember, that is just starting, right? So you're designing, you're validating, you're starting a manufacturing as a journey. When we start manufacturing as a journey, you take a holistic view. Today, we never thought we are all in the 3-axis machine or a 5-axis machine, right? So we are all learning the machining. Now, after 2 years or 5 years down the line, you may be coming a disruptive technology called 3D printing or additive manufacturing. We all don't know, because these are all disruption bringing into the market. As a product development organization, we need to look at what might come for all of you so that we are adjusting that so that our architecture should support. Please understand, the architecture is very, very critical if you really want to solve your practical problems. So we may give a wonderful feature and functionality that is a day in and day life, but if our architecture, like convergent modeling, is an architectural enhancement, what we did for all of us. So that is without that, it is not possible for you to understand the convergence of the mesh model and the BREP model. That's not possible. So we are doing in the back end a lot of work to get that to you and then usable, right? So it may not be usable, it is of no use for all of us. So that's where I'm saying manufacturing is a very critical component in terms of the way the product has been enhanced. So I'm just taking this process just to explain in the context of a YANO model what we have. I'll just, this is in the context of an assembly, I'll go back to part. Let's say there is a part, I'll go to CAM environment. Solid Edge has got a Solid Edge Cam Pro within that environment. When I go to the CAM, let's say this is my role. Let's say your role is design. If there are a third person, his role is for manufacturing. So I will go to my role and then personalize it. So now this is like in personalize and individualize, right? So the idea what I am saying here is it is backed by the Siemens technology, which is again NXCAM, which I already talked about this. And then whatever technology is available within the NX time frame or a framework is being brought into the Solid Edge Cam Pro as well, right? So this is just a 3-axis you may be seeing, but you can extend it. Please remember, you may be getting a 2.5-axis or a 3-axis as a starting or an entry point, but eventually you can expand your horizon from a design to manufacturing, right? So it can be a robot, or it can be a 5-axis, or it can be any other machine, right? So here we are not looking at anybody else, but virtually validating my program. And I'm just going to the cloud-based solution where the post-processors are the biggest challenge in the manufacturing industry, right? So you may be buying a new machine, but challenge is how can we address the post-processor problem, because you have to convert the machine level language into a readable language, which is what we call as G-code, M-code. So this is the biggest challenge, and we address that with the latest version of Solid Edge Cam Pro and addressing that, and then making a post hub. All the posts which are being developed, tested by the Siemens and our extended partners is being put under the cloud-based solution called post hub. So we will walk you through all these things in about 25 minutes or 30 minutes of what my presentation is all about. So this is a overall solution framework we developed for this version of NX or a Solid Edge Cam Pro. But we have introduced a new advanced wire EDM capability also. We know the complexity is very high in the wire EDM industry. So we got this backing from our partners and then got the new advanced wire redeem capability also in the latest. So once we have that, I'll go little detail what you as a customer will look inside the Solid Edge Cam Pro. Now the Solid Edge Cam Pro is an inbuilt solution, right? So it comes along with, it's an interoperability. The moment you change the design inside your Solid Edge, the manufacturing also get updated. That's a kind of interoperability we already seen from design to analysis. The same thing you can extend up to manufacturing also, right? So that's how the interoperability works. But it is not just limited. When I say if a design changes, a manufacturing changes. But let's say you want to adopt a model-based definition, which he was talking, PMI. In that scenario also, you have a PMI, what we call as link to PMI. If you have all the PMIs are already available in your design, you just have to say right-click and then generate the toolpath. Because in the backend, we have something called as feature-based machining algorithm, which will generate the toolpath. Right? So that's how the inside architecture what we have developed, so that the MBD is not just a process, but it is a downstream benefits, what we all have. So you saw the inspector, Solid Edge inspector, where is a ballooning, and that can be even consumed in our CMM, coordinate measuring machine. Let's say you have a 5 CMM machine, you can generate as per the DMI standard output. Right? So that's how the consumption is also there, not just creating. We normally end creating and then use it. That's how the idea of Solid Edge Cam Pro. I think the 2.5D or face milling or whatever you may pocketing, chamfering, roughing, everything is available within the Solid Edge Cam Pro gamut. But what is this is I'm just showing from the Solid Edge Cam Pro perspective, right? So you can anything you look at from a prismatic perspective or a complex part. Even I'm not saying you just do the prismatic, right? Because gone are the days you're just doing a prismatic machining. You might increase or you can expand from the industrial machinery to an aerospace. We don't know, right? So the scenarios might change. Aerospace and defense is getting more focus in Indian context. So you might extend your focus from a industrial machinery to another industry maybe in the future, right? So company want to diversify. So in that scenario, prismatic may not work. So that case, you need to look at the other areas also, like center drilling or boring or countersinking, taping. Every other features are included within the Solid Edge Cam Pro. Now, you may say, if I am a mold and die customer, right? So normally, prismatic parts are simple, right? So there are facing and there are hole making and all that simple parts are there that an operator himself can do on the machine. But normally, we suggest you go with a model-based approach, meaning the model should be a master. You generate the program. Once you do this 3D, then you can get into the model automation, right? That's where otherwise we will never reach that automation what is planned. Unless you may do a wonderful automation in the design, that is well, because you're reducing your design time. But if your manufacturing is not automated, but again, lead time is more because the manufacturing and the quality, that area need to be automated, right? So in Solid Edge Cam Pro, what we have done is mainly a 3-axis milling. Let's say you are a mold and die maker. You want to do the roughing or manufacturing, semi-finishing, or we have introduced the latest technology, adaptive milling. I'm not sure how many of you are using this for a long time. This is there with Siemens ecosystem almost 3 years now. Now, in order to demonstrate all these things, we have created the Center of Excellence in Bangalore. So if anybody happens to visit, you can come and see what everything is live happening, right? Called Technology and Application Center, where we have our own machine, we have our own cutting tool, we are cutting the parts. You can come and see the live happening, right? This is what we are showing. This is not just a starting. This is just to show the proof of concept across the country and then take it to the customer like you. Apart from this, normally we have a habit of just seeing the IPW, in-process workpiece, right? So you can generate the toolpath, see whether before it in cutting. Because in this process, it looks simple. Because if any collisions are there, so you digitally validate your toolpath. That's our recommendation. Anything you shift left. Normally, if you do anything on the shop floor, because you have to waste time, operator time, the machine time, the cycle time. So it is always recommended any validation you want to do, you do in a digital way. That's what is our recommendation. And this is one of the way where you create the toolpath, create an IPW, we call in-process workpiece in a Solid Edge Cam Pro environment. whether it is satisfying your machine need, your operator need, your futuristic need, anything and everything, and then modify virtually. Check that, and if you are fine, then only load that program to your machine. Otherwise, you can optimize digitally. That's what we call digital twin of the product and the production, right? So you can validate the program. Here, I'm just calling the tool and the holder. But in the future, or I'll show you how you can even call your own machine. Let's say you have a Jyoti machine, or you may have a AMS machine, or a BFW, any machine, you can call that and then virtually validate. This is called build the digital twin of your production. Because in the pandemic side, I know people cannot go to the shop floor. You are not able to load the programs on your machine. Now, if you have the virtually or a digital twin ready, if you have built your machine model, if you have a part ready, so it's easily uploading the parts and the program. So in this process, you can do the G-code program simulation, you can do the virtual validation with the G-code reverse simulation, and you can even see the model view. That's also possible with our Solid Edge CAM Pro. Now, we saw the new technologies emerging. What we have started looking at from Solid Edge CAM Pro is, again, applying artificial intelligence to the CAM algorithm. I know you are an NC programmer, you are an expert in 3-axis. We want to understand how you're doing for a 3-axis die mold application. We want to capture that and then apply the AI-assisted programming. So that is already available within the Solid Edge CAM Pro framework, meaning whatever you may be thinking in the future, we already have that available, right? So my suggestion is, as a user, I know you have a lot of other priorities, but if you can take some time out, just learn everyday new things, apply this artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithm, what we develop especially for the customer like you, test it, already available in the production. So we have a prediction command within Solid Edge CAM Pro which will predict what need to be done for the die mold application, or for aerospace application, or maybe some die and mold application, some other application based on the application specific or the programming specific. You can create that and then do the artificial intelligence within that technology. Then virtually validation. I talked about this earlier, but in this situation, I want to create a toolpath. I want to call my machine next level, right? So you have a toolpath based on the whatever Solid Edge you designed. Let's say I created a 3-axis toolpath or a 5-axis toolpath. Now, software, we should give you a flexibility to call your machine. Let's say I got Haas machine or a DMJ machine. I should be able to call my machine upfront, because you cannot again export this and then take it to the another XYZ software and do the validation. That's not accepted in the Industry 4.0 era. So what is recommended is all are captured in the Solid Edge CAM Pro, and then what is available, I encourage all of you as a user to validate and then give us a positive feedback. We want to improve if there are some gaps. Now this is a way normally we all do the programming, but there are different ways wherein I just say you call your machine when let's say there is a machine loading. So this is how the machine will completely load. Let's say I got a Haas machine here or a DMG machine. You can go to our post hub and then call the entire kinematics of your machine, XYZ, A and C or B and C, whatever kinematics you may have. There is a production view. You can see the clear, if there is a main program and sub-program routines are there, all can be simulated virtually. So this is a digital twin. You don't need a machine here. You need just a 3D model of your machine. So then you can make that as a smart machine. You add a kinematics to it, and then everything can be done digitally. So this is how the whole world is doing before the machine is arriving. I know you are ordering the machine today, and to receive your machine, commissioning takes time, right? You are not ready. But before that, you can do virtually prove out all this, your digital validation. Most of the customers says, I'm not an expert in the 5-axis. I am a 3-axis expert, but how can I take my 3-axis learning to a 5-axis? Now this is a phase where you can learn, create a 3-axis program, and then say, I want to convert this program to a 5-axis, right? So technologies are such, you first identify the part, and then say this is having collision. Let's say I want to tilt by a 15-degree tilt angle, lead angle, right, based on the experience. And then we suggest tilt it or lead the angle based on the fan angle, fan degree, right? So this is where software will make an inclusive product enhancement where we tilt 3-axis toolpath to a 5-axis toolpath. Means just say tilt by 15 degree. and automatically the 3-axis toolpath is converted into 5-axis if you have a machine. I know there is a gap. If you don't have the machine, you cannot use this function. But if you have a machine which is capable of 5-axis, I want you to use fully. Because I know though you have a 5-axis machine, but it is not used to the full extent of the 5-axis capability. So that can be avoided if you go with this kind of approaches where a 3-axis toolpath can be converted into a 5-axis also. So that is the simplest way to learn 5-axis because you have to reskill. I know you are all expert in 3-axis, but if you want to pick up the new technology, learn new things like 5-axis and then multi-axis and synchronous. Then there are some more things which most of the customers do today, complex parts. I'm not sure how many you do the complex programming part here. Let's say impeller or blisk or rotating equipment parts. I know Siemens, we have been using this for long. We got something called as multi-axis blade, right? So this is also part of Solid Edge CamPro, latest version of NX and Solid Edge CamPro, where you can create your toolpath first time and then rotate that by 80 degree or 45 degree, depending on the axis, right? So here there is a very clearly written what is the hub, what is the shroud, and what is the blade, right? What is the blend radius, all the intricacies of the templates, what you might be using in the general way. We are recommending you to go, if you are using an impeller or a blisk, I recommend you to use a multi-blade geometry where all the options can be automated with our expertise, where from Siemens side or from partner side or from the artificial intelligence. That's how the whole idea is all about. Lot of customers were asking about the roughing. When customer wanted to do a 3-axis roughing, we didn't have a capability to do a 5-axis roughing. Now, last 3 years, we got this into Solid Edge CamPro. You can do a 5-axis roughing within the multi-axis roughing also is possible now with the latest version of Solid Edge CamPro. Let's say you have a part where you want to use all the 5-axis simultaneously for the roughing. You can do that. So depending on the application, part, and specific requirement, we can suggest what is the hardness of the material, what is the machine you have, and then you can take a multi-axis roughing approach so that quickly support the material. So you remove the material as fast as possible and then do the finishing in a nice way. That's the whole idea people are going towards the industry. In the past, we heard from our customers, partners that NX, we have our Solid Edge CamPro, there are less number of posts. So we took that very seriously in the latest version of NX. We added 1,200 post processor into our post hub. I want you to encourage all of you to validate this. Go to our post hub, which is a cloud-based solution, and then you can download also, right? So if you are under maintenance, you can even go to our website and download all these post processors which are available, right? So this is how a post hub works, because in a CAM, unless you convert that into a G-code, M-code, it is not recommended for anybody to just use as it is. We say you go to the hub, which is a Siemens certified one, and then go to search your machine. Let's say you have a Haas machine or a Jotim machine. You search based on the machine manufacturer or the controller or the axis. Either of the one you search it, and then you get relevant, and some are free, some are charged a little bit here and there, but definitely solutions are available, right? So what we have done is we added a smart machine toolkit, which will create a post, will create a simulation, and then you can get the complete solution from a Siemens side. So we don't want you to waste your time in just proving the machine, proving the part, proving the post processor. I know in the past we spent time enough, days, months, and years just to prove the machine. Machine is not working properly, or the post is not working properly, or the operator. Either of the one is not working properly. We have to work in synchronization, right? So that's what we did with our partners called companies. These are all possibilities are there. You don't have to worry about that. I'm just showing you. It is not just a milling. Even you can do the turning jobs. Even you can do the wire radium. I already talked about this. And then you can upgrade. One thing, things are improving or changing in the world is complexity is increasing, and it will increase again, right? So this is a kind of machine where you have a mill-turn machine, right? So not just a 3-axis machine. Parts are becoming complex. Industry you serve will be slightly different than the traditional industry. Here, what we are doing here is a 5-axis or a multi-channel machine or a multitask machine where you can do a milling, turning, drilling in a single machine. And then it's a very complex environment, not that easy. It looks nice. You go and check inside and in outside world, they are not using effectively, right? So, but solutions are available where you can do the tailstock programming, main programming, right? So sub-spindle, main spindle, all that what if scenarios can be virtually proved here and then load it. Because I know you're paying heavy money and heavy cost to your machine. The machines are very expensive. In the past, we were all getting the low-cost machine, but today your all imported machines are little expensive. So this kind of digital twin building is the de facto standard in the future, right? So if you really want to up to date, get all this technology, getting it faster, and then apply the feature-based machining or any other turning capability, this kind of CTX beta or WFL kind of machine, any machine you take today is all supported, which is called mill turn machine or a turn mill center, right? So the whole idea here is don't look at just a prismatic part or any other part, it can apply to any part. And being a Siemens, you all know the Traore functions and other functions which come from the controller side. We work very hand in hand with our hardware and the software. We are the only company who can do virtual simulation and digital simulation together, right? So you can name anybody today, they cannot do both virtual and digital together. This is not the end, this is just a beginning. I told you a lot of new technologies are coming up, we have to gear up our solution. Now the new technologies are such, everybody as a manufacturing fraternity, we need to upskill ourselves. Otherwise, it will be very hard for us to find a place in the ever-changing market. Now, what are the new changes happening in the industry? Now, when we looked at customer in India, not outside, so you can just imagine these things are already being implemented in Indian context is not the way of subtractive material only or removing the material, just you are adding the material now. This is another area which will be an exciting one. You can see when we say additive manufacturing, there is a DED technology, right? So there is a VAM technology. There are new technologies that are coming up, and we are working with most of the customers where we can add a value to them. You can think of powder bed fusion or a multi-jet, right? So you can even think of the multi-axis deposition layer or even hybrid. Hybrid is a very complex one because in the same machine you can add the material, remove the material. So that's a very complexity. It's not that easy the way we think because you have to change the spindle. So the deposition spindle will be different and the subtraction spindle will be different. At that any point in time, if the change happens, then synchronization should happen, and that kind of complexity will coming to be a reality. So I have seen at least customers are using additive manufacturing for their use cases in the global and local scenarios. One more advantage what we as a Siemens get into the system is uniqueness, right? So NX Solid Edge Cam Pro, we have working with very closely with controllers. I already talked about this. With that, what is the benefit? You as the end customer will get is cycle time accuracy. I know most of the times we always complain about the cycle time. When you generate the toolpath for a part or for any of the program, normally the cycle time never matches. If let's say I give let's say 2 hours in the physically or my software gives, in the reality when you take this to the shop floor, it is always 2x, right? So or 1.2x or 1.3x, it is not exactly. Now if you do with this kind of digital twin, their accuracy will be about 93 to 95% accurate. The reason is because as I mentioned, you are loading your own machine along with the virtual controller. I just thought of showing this. Let me add a part here. I don't know. Somehow there is an issue, but at least what I am trying to say here is the Siemens 840D controller itself is sitting inside the NX Solid Edge Cam Pro. So you can integrate both, like hardware in loop and the software in loop. That can be integrated together. That's a kind of benefit as an end customer you get if you have a Siemens controller. It does not mean that we stop only with Siemens. Please remember, when we generate the toolpath, it is for generic. Now, after that, we are only making it to specific. If you have a Siemens controller, you can give as per the G code. If you have a Fanuc or Hyde 9 or any other controller, we can give as per their ISO standard or a G code standard. So this is how we try to put the framework in the context of an assembly or in the context of a part or assembly. Whole idea what we are trying to show here is I'll just give me a minute. Somehow it's So this is a complete assembly we built based on the NX. I have added not a conventional machine, I have added additive machine, right? So there is a part, this is a Chiron machine from Germany, where we have added a part which is a gear machining, where the only local teeth is repairing. I'm adding a assembly constraint. You can imagine what all the interoperability discussion we showed in the morning, how important it is if you don't have the complete assembly structure, because your machine is an assembly, right? So if you really want to assemble your machine together with your part and a fixture and a holder, you need all the assembly learnings. Otherwise, you have to recreate it, because you, as a user, you know the pain, right? Now, what I am showing is how to position this part, how to machine this part, not just going and doing the milling. I'm just adding the part or removing the part. Here, this is a laser bed. I'm using, instead of powder adding, I'm just removing the material using the laser bed. So you can define all this new technology which I was talking to you, depending on the need and the requirement as per the need. We can create the new environment as per the requirement and then push a program. So this is how you can even think of new way of manufacturing. This is a completely new setup, what we call as additive manufacturing. So we are not just looking today. Please remember, after 3 years, you may add a robot. Like, I'm not saying 5 years back, if I talk 5 years, 5-axis was a luxury, right? So today, 5-axis is not a luxury. In India, at least, we have more than 1,000 machines where all the people are using 5-axis. But today, robot is a luxury today. But after 2 years, I know every city will have a robots, right? So robot will not be a luxury because of its reachability. So this kind of robots or this kind of additive or subtractive machine, and then 840D controller, that human machine interface, what we call as, is your Industry 4.0 technology, right? So if you don't adopt those things, you are not ready for Industry 4.0 adoption. I'll leave this to you. The one more thing is robots. I talked about the robotic programming. You can create robotic programming using Siemens technology. I just wanted to show you that we already did the part cutting there. The surface finish was excellent, and then a lot of customers give us a quality feedback on that. So don't think just a 3-axis today. After 3 years, what might happen? So you start preparing now, from the skilling, then the futuristic plan, and then the technology selection also. Don't just look at the feature and functionality. Just look at the holistic view, what all the software can do for you, and then your roadmap, because Siemens has the roadmap based on your requirement. So we always encourage customer like you to give the feedback to us, and then wherein we can add a value, and then we will look at what is your requirement, and then we'll give you a solution upfront there. If you have a robot, if you have a multi-axis machine, or if you have a 3-axis, either of the one you can pick and then do your programming, right? So those are all the benefits. I leave these things. I think you're already expert. So these are all new enhancements. I'll not go through that because you already experts in your own domains. The whole idea is when you go and do the programming, we have a lot of new things are coming up. Artificial intelligence, you already saw that, and deburring we have added, 4-axis roughing. So more capabilities are there from a core side, core manufacturing side. This is one of the enhancements we did just to deburr, right? So I know industry was facing this challenge. How can we do a quicker and easy way of deburring the part edges, right? So this is what pending for a long time. A lot of customers requested us, and then we took that feedback positively and then added that for a 3-axis or a 4-axis and a 5-axis, right? So this is what we call as multi-axis deburring option. So this was again a new enhancement with the latest version of Solid Edge Cam Pro. Okay, I just because I'm just I want to summarize. We are already just 10 minutes delay. I just took 5 minutes more than the normal time. Just to summarize, CAM is not just a 3-axis or a 2-axis or 2.5-axis, what you are already doing. Think of multi-axis or multi-axis roughing, and then the rotary machining, and then even you can think of iridium. Any other features can be think, and then new technologies are very important for all of us, right? So just not supporting today's scenario, and then think of futuristic plans, right? So while making your decision on the selection, and then when we train getting supported from Siemens side, please do encourage us, give us a feedback, what works, what does not work for us, and then we take it in a positive way and try to bring as much as possible with our new version and the latest version of our product and enhancement. So that's how I thought I'll summarize. Everything is available, only thing is you need to understand what are the things are available, and then where it is available, reach out to a channel partner ecosystem. It's a very vast subject because I got only 30 minutes, so I thought of covering the breadth here and then summarize, right? So, sorry. Thanks for your time. If you have any question, I will be around. You can question now, or you can, I can take one question. Yeah. But yes, please, go ahead. You can, Senthil, you want to set up? Okay.
Sir, my name is Kiran Patel.
Okay.
I am from Innovative Design Creations LLP, and we are doing the product design, development, and engineering work over here. We are mainly in the turbo machinery product side development.
Okay.
So the main challenge of the turbo machinery product is their quality of manufacturing, lead time, and all these things is very high.
Yeah.
Recently, we have development of a pumps with the new technology of 3D printing. So that 3D printing, as you said, the new way of disruptive technologies. So one of that is the 3D printing. So it is enhancing very high quality plus the reducing the product development cycle time. So we are looking for, like today, like in 3D printing side, if you see, there are not a popular or reliable suppliers are available. Okay. So does it, the Siemens is planning on this 3D printing side technology, providing the platforms, providing the machines in these directions?
Okay. We have a dedicated center of excellence, what we call, for additive manufacturing. In this, we are focusing more on all the topics, but mainly powder bed fusion and DED and the VAM technology. These are all our primary focus because when I say additive manufacturing, it's like a big topic. There are so many technologies that are available. We said we'll go a selective battle. It's a battle, right? So you all know that it's a selection. Out of, let's say, 40, 30 odd technology, we said our focus is more of plastic and metal. We'll not go beyond that because it's a, Siemens focus is more of metal. Anything related to metal, we will be more interested. We have a lot of technology throughout already done. Maybe if you can give us a feedback, I can show you because we have an end-to-end solution. You start with the scanning and then till printing.
Can it, this your adaptive technology is applicable for the turbo machinery components?
Yes, anything, yeah, anything.
Okay, so is it like just like 5-axis machining or?
Any machine. See, 3-axis also we have supplied, and then 5-axis with robots. Without robots also we have given, where one robot will do the deposition, another will do the subtraction, right? So it's a combination. Either you use a machine fully, or you can have a hybrid. One machine, there will be a machine, another maybe a robot. Pick and place, right? So there are ABB robot or KUKA robot. So in India, at least we have got some 5 to 10 customers who are using this technology for their pick and place and then deposition. That's a solution we have from Siemens side. So that's a separate called additive manufacturing. I have not covered it, but I thought I'll show you the overview. But if you are interested, please give me a,
we are looking for such things.
Please,
who can provide the mass production solutions?
Sure. Yeah, it is not just a prototype. We are looking mass production.
Yeah, that's what this thing.
It's available. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Please give us a feedback. We can work on that. Not sure. Thank you.